is the duty of researchers and educators to inform, and what should that look like? Now, as a PhD student, as well as being someone who's quite active on social media, where does that responsibility lie, and is there an endpoint to it? I'd love to know your comments and thoughts on this if you're in that particular perspective as well. Now, one of the key challenges, particularly with social media, is how far that information goes. Now, yes, should we correct pieces of information that we know are false or wrong and provide a voice or an alternative point of view? Absolutely. Is there an argument where we should present different arguments, present different types of discussion and discourse? Again, it can be a very beneficial element for various different audiences who don't necessarily work or interact with that particular type of information, and it can add value. And by providing a bit of a nuanced view where you can effectively do that comparison, it allows other individuals to explore it in more detail. It's one of those things that we need to recognize. Are we preaching to the converted, those individuals who already agree with our points or perspectives? And being in that camp solely on its own adds really no general value. It might help you understand the research better, it might help you have broader or deeper discussions about that particular research area. But in terms of informing and the responsibility for you to share your discipline to that broader audience, it doesn't actually add that much value. However, where it comes into more of a contentious point is the latter two areas. Now, the first point is individuals who are receptive of information and might want to learn a bit more about it and are interested in it. Now, those individuals, you're not necessarily trying to convince or convey a particular argument, you're just trying to share it and encourage them to discuss or read into more information themselves. And then the other side of that is individuals who have already got entrenched views who aren't necessarily going to move from that position. So, is there a point where we think, I'm not going to change this person's mind? I might absolutely disagree with their opinion. I'd love to convince them differently, but I'm not going to convince them of this alternative point of view, and I'm not even getting any form of discussion. We're instead engaged in an argument rather than even a debate. And this is something that is not going to be fruitful for either individual or the community who are listening in. And that's the question that we need to think about as educators, content creators, or as scientists and researchers. But what are your thoughts? Thank you very much for listening.